Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Well, hello, Antie Joan. Are you ready for the new year?
I'm ready to get out of this December 2025.
Yeah?
It's been one heck of a month, I must say.
It hasn't been great.
In case anybody noticed my voice change, I've been sick as a dog for the last week and 10 days, maybe 10 days, 11 days.
Yeah.
I even went to the doctor.
Yeah, she got the crud.
I said, "Doctor, Mr. MD, can you tell me what's wrong with me?" Yeah, and they gave me, one of those COVID test things. And, they tell you, stick it up your nose as far as you hurt yourself, twist it 5 times, and then switch to the other nostril. So those came back negative for COVID, influenzas, RSV. And when I
Good.
saw that, it was,
Good.
yeah. But the ever optimist me thought, oh, it all came back negative. I must have done it wrong. And the next day I started feeling worse. Anyway, he thought it was, just a virus or whatever. And then my neighbors saw a couple friends of theirs, and they said they had gotten sick and had this cough that lasted them 2 weeks. And they'd cough to the point where their stomach hurt. And that was one thing I kept thinking about, is that I'm getting quite a core workout. And I'll bet I'll have a 6-pack after this thing passes. But nobody will know it because they won't be able to see it.
Why?
Because there'll be something covering the 6-pack, the fat.
Oh, no.
So anyway, I think I'm on the mend.
You definitely sound better than when I talked to you. When was that? Monday? Sunday? Monday? Monday. I called you on Sunday. You called me back on Monday. Or Tuesday. I don't know. Anyway, you sound better than you did when we talked on the phone earlier this week.
Well, I sound better than when I talked to Ruth this morning when she called. Because she called me, this afternoon, because I had just woken up from my nap. When you wake up with this stuff, it's been lying there, on your lungs or chest or wherever it is. So then you move and it just kind of gets it moving, and you want to get her out of there.
That's right.
So,
well, he listened to your chest and he said that your lungs were clear when you went to the doctor.
Yeah, he said my lungs sounded good, but
that's good.
That can change.
True.
But no, my lungs feel good. My lungs don't bother me. Mainly the upper chest and sinuses. So, how you doing, Auntie?
I am boiling hot right now.
Ooh, you are a hottie patati.
It is nearly 79 degrees up in this loft right now. Folks, I got to tell you the drama that's been going on here in the Colorado area, certainly on the Front Range area. We've had these unbelievable hurricane force winds. It started a week ago on Tuesday, whatever the heck it was. And that was the worst. I lost 13 folks. Count them, 13 trees in one overnight wind event.
That was unbelievable.
It was gale force winds. I think somebody clocked them as at 90 miles an hour plus. I don't know. It was like a gust every 15 minutes for hours. Hours and hours and hours. It was just awful. It was the most scared I have been in either mountain home. We certainly got very high winds in Netherlands, and I could see the divide, so I got really strong winds at my old house. Nothing like what I experienced a week ago. That was by far the worst. I've never lost 13 trees. I've never lost more than 2 trees in a wind event. And 13, and out of those 13, 8 of them were completely uprooted.
Wow.
The other 5 snapped, which you would expect, because most of them are lodgepoles, folks. So those of you who are potentially listening to us in areas where you have real trees, we have very thin lodgepole trees here. And there's some thicker trees. Thankfully, knock on wood, my thick trees all stayed. But the the really thin lodgepole trees, it was just an unbelievable day. I did lose 2 aspens. One uprooted and laid on another one, and that other one ended up snapping from the weight of the aspen that uprooted. So that's how I lost 2. If it fell properly, I would have only have lost 1, I believe. But, and that makes me sad. The aspens, I really like them to stay. The lodgepoles, I've got, throw a rock, I've got a gajillion of them. But now I can see my other neighbor, who I don't really converse with very clearly now, which I'm not too thrilled about. Nor is my neighbor that I do like on the other side of my house. He can see them from his house now, and he never could see their house.
Oh.
So he's shocked as to how many trees I lost, but it was quite the event. And then last night, we had another wind event. Wasn't nearly as bad as the week before, but the power companies were proactively shutting off power. Although there was some event that triggered mine, because there's one company that does preventive outages to make it during high wind or high weather events. And the one that I have doesn't normally do that, nor did they have anything scheduled for this one, but they also leverage the backbone of the larger company that does do the preventative outages. All I know is at 4:10 p.m. yesterday afternoon, I lost power, and I did not get it back until 3:30 this afternoon. So it was 23 hours, a little bit more than 23 hours of zero power. Thankfully, I have a wonderful wood-burning stove, and I have a wonderful neighbor who brings me wood. And brings me his wood. Isn't that what I usually say? Something like that. I don't know. It's very silly. But anyway, that's the deal. He takes the trees that fall down at my house, and then he cuts them up, lets them season, and then brings me the fireplace ready pieces of wood. So I had plenty of that. I did have to go get more from him today, but regardless, I was running the wood burning stove it's still running right now because I'm paranoid because we're having more wind tonight. And there's potential for another outage tomorrow starting around 5 a.m. because that's when the winds are really going to kick in again. And they're going to be higher than they were yesterday. So I'm preemptively trying to keep the house as warm as possible in case we do have another outage event of the power, and have a bunch of water ready to go, and water in tubs in the bathroom for flushing purposes because I'm on a wet septic system. So when the power goes off, you basically have to use water to flush the toilet. So it's I got next to no sleep last night because I was so paranoid about the house getting too cold that I was up every hour and a half to 2 hours to put more wood on the fire. And slept in the living room, which isn't my favorite place to sleep, especially because the power was off. I couldn't use my electric recline. But my couch is a normal size couch, a decent sized couch, so I can lay down on the couch itself and it's fine. And Killian could give 2 shits about anything that was happening. He could care less about the wind noise, not the fact that I was sleeping in the living room. He's had no problem sprawling out on my bed, perfectly happy being there by himself. He had the whole bed to himself because it was a little chilly for me, but probably better for him because I was trying to make it really warm in the living room. And yeah, it's just been a lot, and I'm really tired of this weather. And we're very early in our season, and the shit's already happening. I'm very fearful for what the rest of this winter is going to be like.
Let me ask you this. You had all those trees cut down
I know.
the year before last. Do you think a lot of those would have been knocked over during this wind? Because, it could have gotten dangerous. It's probably a good thing you did.
I do believe, based on that wind event last week, that it was the right call to remove the amount of trees that I removed. I do think a lot of it, the neighbor who was kind enough to bring me firewood, he did cut down a ton. He clear cut his backyard. We don't really have yards up here, but regardless, the back of his property. And that is the northwest side. And that's where the winds typically come from. So there's really nothing blocking the winds coming through to my property. So, but you're right. I think if I had left if I hadn't taken down those trees last year, this event could have been much, much more serious. Thankfully, out of the 13 trees that fell, not a single one came anywhere near my house. There's really
Yeah,
not a
that's
tree close enough to my house at this point to fall onto it. At least, I don't think.
yeah, yeah.
Knock on wood again. I hope that's true and it remains to be true. Because like I said, we're so early in the season. I mean, spring is when when the tree fell on the house. That made more sense to me because the ground was so saturated from the winter runoff that trees uprooting just made more sense to me. It's been dry. I don't understand how these trees
Yeah, yeah.
uprooted other than from the sheer force of this wind. It was crazy. I was literally, I'm like, there goes another one. There goes another one. There goes another. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, those pictures you sent us were
Oh,
just, yeah, incredible.
every time there was a huge gush, like I said, which felt like it was happening every 15 minutes, I would go to every single window in the house, just all four corners, to see if something else fell because it was just, they were dropping like flies.
Well, I was waiting. You talked about your power company. I
Yes.
do have the power company that has the preventive turnoffs. And I just got another email today, just now, from them telling me that they're going to have a shut off tomorrow, probably starting at 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. at least. Yeah, we'll see.
It's no joke. I just, on one hand, I hate that you're doing the preventative outages, but at the same time, why they do them is to prevent wildfires from, things hitting power lines and making a spark, and everything's been so dry. Like I said, we really haven't had much precipitation yet this winter. I mean, I guess rather a power outage than a
Well, yeah,
wildfire.
especially after the fire. That was horrible.
The Marshall Fire, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
now, I did see on the news last night, they talked about the wind gusts, and they had one clocked in Boulder at 109 miles per hour.
Yep. It
And
was
then
insane.
then they had another one in Boulder at 90. So who knows what it was up by you?
I don't think we had that high of a gust. If we did, it was like like one. You know what I mean? It wasn't a sustained that powerful
Yeah, yeah.
on a consistent basis. And I there was probably one or two that I was like, Jesus. What? I wonder if something fell this time. The thing was, it really kicked up after dark, so I couldn't, and the power was out, so I had no
Oh,
lights. I couldn't see anything. I had to go outside in the middle of the night to get more wood from the bin that my
yeah,
neighbor
yeah.
fills up with the firewood. I had to go out there to get more. I didn't want to, but I'm like, you got it. So I literally stood at the door. I'm like, I have to wait for a gust and waited for a gust to come by, waited a couple more seconds, and I ran outside, opened the bin really quick, took out the firewood, put it all back, closed it all back up and ran back inside before another gust came. And it was, I mean, it was fine. I didn't have any issues with that. And I had to like put my flashlight leaning on the dining room table, pointing outside the door so I could see what I was doing while I was doing all, it was nuts. It was just nuts.
I remember, and probably we don't see much of this anymore because of all the building that's been going on in Colorado. But I remember driving down I-25 during the wintertime and seeing all these sagebrushes just
Mm-hmm.
go blowing across the roads.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even I-25, it was, even locally. You'd
Mm-hmm.
see all these, yeah,
Tumbleweed.
the tumbleweed, that's what it is. The tumbleweed just blowing across like crazy. And I remember when I lived up in Loveland with my first husband, they got blown into this little side yard of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like stacked up, probably up to the top roof. There were so many of
Oh
them
my
there.
God.
And those things are a real fire hazard,
Yeah.
because they're so dry. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we were lucky, but
Yeah.
you didn't hear about fires like we had and you didn't hear about schools closing and any of that stuff.
Mm-mm.
So,
Mm-mm.
wow, I
It's
don't
so funny you brought up tumbleweeds because I'll never forget when I first moved out here and I saw my first tumbleweed
know.
back in 1998, and I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, they're real. Like they've always been on TV. They were like, so if you don't live out west or haven't visited out west, folks, tumbleweeds are truly a thing, and they do happen out here. I don't see them very often.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but when I do see them, I laugh. I'm just like, oh my God, that's like from a cartoon. Like,
Yeah. Man, we used to see them all the time. All
Wow.
the time. Yeah. Those were the days.
Those were the days, I tells ya. Yeah, I think people have just I think as people have gotten more selfish over the years and they don't take fire safety as seriously as they probably did when people actually were courteous to other people and didn't just think that it's not going to happen and I can do whatever I want. This is like, it's my right. I can do whatever. It's like, oh my God. So I think I hate the power outages with a passion, but at the same time, I'll take a power outage over houses burning and total decimation.
You just made me remember something. Now I moved out here in 75, and I was a 2+ pack smoker. 2+ pack a day smoker. And until I got pathetic to the environment, I'd smoke my cigarettes as I'm driving a car and take the butt and just put it out the window. And finally I got smart and I thought, it's pretty dry out here. I think maybe I should just leave it in the ashtray. So then, of course, my ashtray would fill and to overflowing and get the butts on the floor. And yeah, a lot learned and a lot changed over the years.
For sure. So yeah, there were a couple of fire events, nothing near either of us, thankfully. Yesterday, Yuma County, I guess, had a pretty decent sized fire. And I guess it was Cheyenne, so really Wyoming. But there were concerns, because Cheyenne's right over the border from Colorado. So, and there were a couple of house devastations. I think there was a generator, a gas-powered generator that went awry, caught fire, and the house burnt to the ground, but one single house. And then there was a apartment complex somewhere in Lakewood, I believe, that somebody had a space heater out on their wood deck for some reason, and that caught fire, and 30 people had to be displaced and work with the American Red Cross to find temporary housing and all that wonderful stuff. So, you think about that kind of stuff, and you're like, yeah, maybe a power outage isn't so bad after all.
Yeah.
And as long as you prepare for it. And I will say, my county did set up a warming center at the high school through the American Red Cross. Well, the power's back on, so they're probably not. They probably didn't set up the cots for tonight. The downside is they didn't get it all set up until about 10:30 last night, so I don't know if anybody went there last night to spend the night because they were going to have cots set up and things like that. But you could have gone there throughout the day today to charge things or take a shower, just get warm. I think they had some food out for people and stuff like that. So oddly enough, Nederland, Boulder County did not have anything set up in Nederland, which I thought was strange.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it's something at the community center, but I don't think they actually set anything up last night. So people were kind of on their own. Just kind of terrible because it got real. Oh, that's another thing. Last week, it was at least warm. So I never lost power last week. I lost all those trees, but I didn't lose power. But the people in Nederland did lose power. Some people 30 hours plus, but it was at least warm out. Even overnight temperatures didn't get below like the, mid 40s or something like that, which is also what tomorrow is bringing, warm weather again. So should the power go out tomorrow, it probably won't be as, I'll still, burn wood and all that stuff, but I won't be as, get the house up to 75 degrees. Oh my God, it's 79 degrees up here right now. I'm so hot. I'm so hot. But I won't be doing that tomorrow because it's going to be warm. And it's going to be warm for days thereafter. So, yes, we just have to get through another outage.
Somebody put a thing on Nextdoor. They took a picture of the gas pump. And it was from yesterday. And it had the date, December 17th, and the temperature. 71 degrees.
Yeah. Overnight last night, it got down to 13 degrees up here. It was nice and warm when the day started, and I had snow, not a ton. It definitely, the ground got covered, but it blew, so I can't tell you exactly how much I got. Didn't drift nearly as much in front of the garage doors as normal. So when I had to go get the wood from my neighbor, to get out of my garage, I usually have to shovel a drift, and took me all of 3 seconds. There was barely anything. I was like, oh, that was nice. That was lovely. Yeah. Usually it's almost like hip high that I have to deal with. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe more like knee high or mid thigh, knee to mid thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was no big deal. And nothing stuck because I can't put out the heated mat when it's windy like that because it'll blow. So I'm just like, and when I heard the snow hitting the windows, I was like, oh, that's going to suck for tomorrow. But no, the breezeway was completely clear. The wind took care of that. It worked out fine. So yes, I'm tired of this weather. Like I said, it's the beginning of the season, so this is bad to be tired of it already, but we'll do what we do. It's the joys of living in Colorado's.
Yeah.
So yes, feeling like Dorothy for sure.
Dorothy, yeah.
Dorothy. Yes, definitely hurricane force winds or tornado-like activities.
Absolutely.
It's insane. But as fitting as that is, and poor Antie Joan was too sick to go.
Yes.
I went and saw Wicked for Good all by my lonesomes because last year we reviewed Wicked Part 1. So we thought we would, as we talked about, folks, this is our very last pickled watermelon rinds episode. So we thought it would be fitting to review Wicked for Good to close it all off. But unfortunately, only I went to see it, and I already saw the play, so I already knew the story. So poor Antie Joan hasn't seen it, so I'm not quite sure I want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give it away because I do want you to see the end of it.
Oh, okay.
So well, I enjoyed it. I did forget some things, so it was a nice refresher, even though I saw the play twice. I was like, oh, yeah, that's how this goes. So it did stay true to the play for the most part. I mean, of course, more grand and all that because it's Hollywood and all that, more you can do in Hollywood than you can on a stage. I think we're going to skip that and just say that I do think it's a good see. If you saw part 1, you do want to see part 2 and finish it. It does tie in Dorothy into it, so it's good.
Oh.
Yes, and the other characters, and it all ties together, but there's a different type of ending, and I do think if you saw part 1, it is a must to see part 2 for sure.
So did Dorothy appear in the play also?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now this kind of spikes my interest. I wasn't really that looking forward to seeing the second one. My mind just couldn't conceive of what they could possibly do then.
It's where the story is already interesting in part 1. It's the different take, talking about the Wicked Witch of the West and and all that Elphaba. But how they end it is actually it's equally as interesting as part 1.
Okay.
So
good.
I do recommend that you do see that.
Well, maybe I will then.
Wonderful.
I'll for sure watch it when it comes out.
Yes.
Streaming, but
yes, and I'll probably hit the Peacock would be my guess.
You think so?
Because that's where the first one landed.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So I believe the second one will as well. So instead of going deep dive into Wicked for Good, and this being our very last episode, ever, Antie Joan had the idea for us to reflect on the past 2 years, kind of go down that path and be a little nostalgic for the 2 years of pickled watermelon rinds. Antie Joan, you want to kick us off?
Well, I just can't believe it's been 2 years already. And when you think about where our knowledge base was when we started this and, the fact that we've been able to do what we've done for this time. I mean, you've outdone yourself with your editing and everything, working with the platforms and all that stuff.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. But
to you with your artwork. And the avatars, I don't know how to do any of that crap. I still don't. You know how to do all that.
Ain't much to it.
Well, they come out great.
Yeah,
I really like them.
I'll have to show you then sometime. Usually when I reflect back on the year or whatever, you think not that much has happened. But then when I have gone back and listened to some of the episodes and stuff, I'm kind of impressed with all that we've done, all the movies we've seen over these 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I think we deserve big, fat pats on the back.
I agree. We definitely advanced our knowledge base, like you were mentioning. And I think, could we have done more with marketing? Yes, but neither of us like that crap.
Could we have done anything with marketing?
True. We tried a couple of things that fell flat, like the contest, the voicemail stuff. Although Superfan CDB did leave us a couple of messages, but she was the only one. We tried. We clearly aren't good in that particular space, but we gave things a shot. What you gonna do? Won't know until you try, right?
What we needed was a marketing person or somebody that could
that would have done it for free.
Absolutely.
Hence the rub.
Yeah. But I mean that, maybe would have made a difference. But
yes. I agree. We did the best we could with with our tools we had available to us. And I think we did a pretty outstanding job for what we did take on. And it was new to both of us. I think it was kind of cool that we even decided to do this. So
yeah, I'm disappointed that my family didn't come on board. I'll say that right here for public knowledge, because they won't even know I said it.
Same. I agree 100%. Very few of my family ever engaged, and certainly not on a reoccurring basis throughout the 2 years. Disappointing. And I have to say, even friend-wise, we had some early followers for a while, and then they kind of drifted off as well. And we really had our two, Auntie Bethy and Superfan Sandy B. Those were the two that stuck with us from the beginning through to the end. And we appreciate you guys for doing that. That was very sweet.
Absolutely.
I guess that's that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should be proud of ourselves, and we can still listen to these last 2 years on YouTube, right?
Correct. So yes, just a reminder, I mentioned this last episode, I believe. Be able to listen to all 2 years of episodes on your regular favorite podcast platform, Apple, whatever, through till about mid-February. And then after that, we'll be on YouTube in perpetuity. So we're just going to leave it on out there, and you guys can get nostalgic and re-listen anytime you'd like. Same thing with the Instagram posts of the talking avatars of our trailers. Those will stay out on Instagram. We're planning on just leaving them out there, but there won't be any new ones. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I love having my weekly chat with Antie Joan.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And I like that we do this over Zoom so we can see each other and chit chat. And
yes.
But we can do that without the podcast being involved, if we so choose to do so.
Now that we got this equipment,
That's right. Yeah, exactly. What the hell else are we going to do with it?
Obviously, nobody else wants to talk to us.
No,
that's not true. That's not true.
No. Yeah, we had we had a guest. We had Hey C on as a guest once.
Oh, that's right.
We tried getting others, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. Not that they weren't interested, it just didn't work out for one reason or another. So that's okay. But we appreciate our listener and those overseas that have been listening to us on a more regular basis. We appreciate you as well. We appreciate all of our listeners. There weren't a whole lot of you. Wish you guys talked about us a little bit more so we could have had more, but that's okay.
Yeah. So long. Farewell. You're saying goodbye.
There you go. All right, Antie Joan. Anything else for our listener? One last time.
No, I'm done.
All right, then. Well, then we say farewell.
Happy 2026 and bye-bye now.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.